The Treehouse Adventures presents Beholding Christmas. Written by John Carcello and Mallory Page.
Previously on Beholding Christmas.
Now you really made me mad.
Oh no, look at me. I'm so scared.
As Richard and Annalisa's bickering reached a breaking point, Annalisa shoved Richard, who proceeded to fall backwards into the manger. To everyone's surprise, however, Richard appeared to fall through it. That is, he disappeared as if the manger was a portal, as a bright light began glowing out of it. Annalisa began to be sucked into the manger portal as well. Meanwhile, Annalisa and Richard found themselves falling out of the sky into a wagon attached to a donkey that had been peacefully sleeping until their impact. Dust formed around them once they landed with a thud, causing them to cough and adjust their eyes to the dark and unfamiliar place. Most of the people of Bethlehem were fast asleep in their homes since the hour was late.
Richard, look! That has to be the same star the wise men followed in Bethlehem. At that, we're in Bethlehem. What if it's Christmas? Richard, what if we're actually in Bethlehem for the very first Christmas?
Wow, that's huge. Wait, if we follow it, does that mean we'll get to see baby Jesus?
Come on, we should follow the star. If I'm right, then I bet we find Harry, Jasmine, Creflo, and Rylan there too. Let's go.
I have ridden upon the beast, and I now know true evil.
Oh, please, you're so dramatic, and that's coming from me.
Okay, guys, let's stay on track here. My guess is that we were meant to meet up in order to arrive in Bethlehem together. Everyone, we get to witness the whole meaning of Christmas.
What is Christmas? Chapter 6. Behold, it's Christmas.
Just like the Star of Bethlehem guided the Magi to the manger to witness the birth of Christ, it also brought the children and their guardians. After a long journey across the desert, they were the first to arrive at the scene, along with Creflo and Rylan, who had a heavenly view from the sky. Rylan waved at Annalisa and the others with a giggle when she spotted her friends below. Harry felt sad that Big Jim wasn't there to witness this moment. But just as that thought crossed his mind, Big Jim fell from the sky. When he sat up from the ground, he had a bump on his head from the hard landing. He opened his mouth, prepared to launch into a series of questions, but stopped when he realized where he was. Words failed him as his eyes widened, and he silently took in the scene before him. They all beheld the sight of the wise men kneeling before the manger, where a tiny baby lay at rest while they presented gifts of gold and other treasures to him. That very night, a Savior was born. That night is what Christmas is all about. Rylan took the moving scene she had witnessed and portrayed it in their play, putting on a performance as Mary that brought the crowd to tears. Rylan took all the emotion and joy she had felt, watching the real birth of Christ, and poured it into the audience, who were enraptured. It was a night no one would soon forget. Of course, Richard learned that not all heroes wore capes, and that Joseph, though he wasn't a dragon slayer, was a hero for following the Lord's will, even if it didn't make any sense and wouldn't be easy. Creflo had surprised everyone the most. The silent boy who kept his words to himself had stood on that stage and delivered his lines with a confidence that even he didn't know he had. Big Jim, Harry, Annalisa, and Jasmine all cheered backstage once the play came to an end and the curtains closed. There was no doubt in their minds that the hearts of those in the audience were touched that night, and their hearts were touched too. Joy filled the foster home as everyone opened their presents and reminisced over the journey they just returned from. In fact, it was the journey that brought them all joy. The presents were just icing on the cake. Everyone was enjoying this special Christmas morning. Everyone, except for Jasmine. No matter how hard she tried to be happy, Jasmine missed her sister. This was the first Christmas that they were not together, and it broke Jasmine's heart. As Jasmine stared at a photo of her and Jaylee from the Christmas prior, a knock on the door took everyone by surprise. Big Jim got up to answer the door, and behold, it was Zach, Beth, Gloria, and Jaylee. Jaylee had a present on her lap that appeared to be for Jasmine. Jasmine opened the present only to find adoption papers with her name on it. Zach and Beth had wanted to wait until Christmas morning to deliver the greatest gift Jasmine had ever received, a family, her family. Jasmine and Jaylee wept as they realized they were finally about to be home. Everyone went inside the cozy living room and made themselves comfortable. Big Jim opened the Bible and began to read the story they had all just witnessed firsthand. The story of Christmas. At that moment, they all realized that Christmas wasn't about the presents, the gingerbread houses, or tree houses. Christmas was about Christ and sharing the love that He gave all of them with each other. They all reflected on what they learned this Christmas. Jasmine learned that she was not forgotten, but that sometimes the best gifts in life take time to receive. Rylan learned that she was chosen by God to do things far greater than she imagined she could do, and that heaven is more wonderful and real than she had ever imagined. Harry learned that camels were nothing to be afraid of and were far more likely to be too friendly than rabid. Big Jim learned that God's ways were not always His ways, and that's okay because he realized God truly does know best. Richard learned that God measures success not by how large one's calling and role are, but by how faithful one is to the calling and role God has given them. Creflo learned that God uses everyone, even kids like him who are quieter and shyer than most, and that what he always believed made him awkward is actually what makes him special. Annalisa learned that she finds joy and fulfillment in watching others succeed. In fact, it's what she desired more than anything. She was called to be a leader. All of them learned that they would never behold Christmas the same way again, and they wouldn't have it any other way. Merry Christmas.